Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Spin and Prog. Today, I have a very special guest with me, the wonderful Pat Kennedy of Close to the Edge. How are you doing, Pat?
Not too bad at all, Tara. And it's great to be on your channel. Actually, it is. I was looking
I
forward to
think,
this.
yeah, I think you're the first. You're the first guest that I've actually had on the channel over StreamYard.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is exciting. So Pat is streaming from Waterford in Ireland, and I'm here in Canada. As you can see, I have my Tim Hortons with me. Really embracing the culture here. But today we are going to be talking about Thin Lizzy's absolutely fantastic album, Roisin Dubh or Black Rose. And it's funny because today is actually 39 years since we lost Phil Lynott. So it's going to be nice to do a little tribute to him via this video, I guess. So I messaged Pat. I said, would you be interested in doing a video on this album? And he said, of course, my favorite Thin Lizzy album. And I said, me too. So
Yeah,
Pat,
my favorite album. Yeah.
you'd have a lot more experience with this stuff than me because I've only been on this earth for 25 years.
Yeah.
And you'll remember when Thin Lizzy were actually around.
I do when I saw him.
Well, tell us all about it.
Yeah, I saw him actually. I saw him in. Unfortunately, I saw him without Phil Lynott.
Okay.
And would you read? They had John Sykes on guitar and Scott Gorman.
Oh,
I saw him in the Forum. You know the Forum here in Waterford.
Yeah, really.
Yeah,
wow.
and they were absolutely amazing. And actually, Scott Gorman was doing the singing, and he sounded like Phil Lynott.
Fantastic.
Now, the lads, Kevin and Paul, my mates, who were on my channel, they actually saw the band live in Cork. And I couldn't go down. You know why I couldn't go down?
Why?
I couldn't afford to go down.
Listen, the bus from Waterford to Cork is expensive.
Back in the 80s, it would have been.
Yeah. So when did you
I mean?
see him? What year was it that you saw him?
Oh, they were doing it kind of in the 90s.
Oh, okay.
Kind of doing a thing like, around Ireland, like,
Yeah.
And they were brilliant.
It was after Phil passed away.
Oh, yeah, it's a good few years after he passed away, but it was brilliant. And actually see Scott Gorman, who's a very underrated guitarist.
Oh, yeah. Big
and
time.
John Sykes is a brilliant guitarist, and he was with Whitesnake as well.
Yeah.
Enough said about that, the better, because Whitesnake went horribly wrong.
Yeah, let's change the subject quick.
Change the subject about them now.
All right, well, look, let's get into this album. So for anyone that doesn't know, Black Rose was kind of dubbed like one of their masterpieces. Now, I was reading up on when it came out. So it came out in 1979. And there was a bit of a mixed reception on it because people weren't happy that they were singing about Ireland in such a nice way. Because, things had kind of gone downhill politically and everything. And I was reading about a journalist saying, like, oh, what are they doing singing about it in this kind of light? Are they blind to what's going on? Kind of thing.
Well, they were singing about myths and legends, really, weren't they? And
yeah, pretty much. And I mean, like, they did acknowledge that stuff, like calling it Black Rose, was referring, the rose was Ireland, the beauty of Ireland, and then the blackness was like the British coming in and the Troubles.
Yeah, the Troubles at the time in the 70s and the 80s.
Yeah.
And I lived through it all.
Yeah.
And Ireland was a bleak place in the late 70s and 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Very bleak place, high unemployment.
Yeah.
And a lot of us, all we had was our music.
Yeah.
And we loved our music.
Yeah, exactly. And for them to come out with something like that is going to resonate with the fan base big time, to give you this bit of escapism to go into. So this is the album for anyone that isn't familiar.
Yeah, I have it here too. Same one, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
The remastered edition, this one.
Hang on now, because mine has all this red writing up the spine.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of like Japanese do that, yeah.
Remaster collection. But yeah. So, of course, the art by Jim Fitzpatrick, who's still around, absolute legend, lovely man. And we're going to go through the tracks one by one and, talk about what we interpret them as and what they mean to us, kind of thing. So, do anything you want to. What a way to open an album. It's like a superhero theme song.
Well, it resonated with a lot of us at the time. We were only teenagers. Do anything you want to do.
Yeah.
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 You know,
exactly. Real inspiring kind of.
You know, do anything you want to do, and that's what it's about. You know,
Yeah.
in other words, whatever dreams you had, go for it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
really, that's what he's saying. And it was particularly, I think, for us in Ireland. I think that's what he was aiming at, hitting at the Irish. You know, Irish youth.
Yeah.
You know, you can do anything you want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Because there was
Basically.
always a kind of sense of misery in the Irish. You know, I think there still is. And I even when I was a teenager only a few years ago, I had this sense of like hopelessness and oh sure, what can you do here? Like it's not great, blah blah blah. So like this did resonate with me as well. But yeah, for the time it came out, I can imagine how hard it was for you, like, you know.
Different country than it is nowadays, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Very, very religious country, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Very, very.
Yeah, that's still around, unfortunately, a bit.
It's still there, but not as much as it used to be, you know.
Yeah,
not as much as it used to be.
So, Pat, I want to ask you a question, right?
Yeah, go on.
Do you think Thin Lizzy are prog?
No.
Any bit at all?
They have slight prog, especially on this album, maybe. I think the title track, Roisin Dubh, would be classed as a prog track.
Yeah, absolutely. I was having this conversation with Cody, you know, because I played Roisin Dubh on prog radio a few months ago. I was doing an episode on kind of when people use like myths and legends and songs, and I think I had the Horslips in there as well.
The Horslips are prog.
Oh, they're like all out prog, like they're
Irish prog. Oh no, Celtic. I call it Celtic prog.
Yes. Yeah, but I played Roisin Dubh and he was going, oh, I don't know if they're considered prog, and I was saying that track though, the double guitar thing in there, the incorporation of the myths and legends, and you know, having all the William Butler Yeats references in there and everything, I thought was
it is a prog track. Yeah, it is.
Excellent. All right, toughest street in town.
Yeah, that's another one. This is the toughest. I love that. I love the chorus on that. It's actually very catchy, isn't it?
It is, yeah, and it's very again referring to Ireland.
It is, yeah. Again, especially more so Dublin, I would say. You know, where Phil grew up, like, you know,
around the flats.
Yeah,
yeah.
Ballyfermot and all these places.
Crumlin, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was, but Ballyfermot wouldn't be too far away from there as well, and
yeah,
you know, all the flats there, and you know, Ireland was like, a lot of people don't realize, you know, we're watching your channel now from maybe say they're from America or Canada or any place. It was tough here.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was dark and dank. Unemployment was high, and the music though, that's what toughest street in town. But you could translate that to anywhere in the world, really. You
could, yeah.
You know, any place that has tough places to live, like, you know. Great track though, very great chorus.
Yeah, it's gas the way they could take such a kind of a dark enough subject and turn it into this real catchy tune.
Catchy tune, and of course, what makes this album again so special in my book is it has one of my favorite guitarists of all time on it, Gary Moore.
Gary, what a man! What a man!
What a guitarist! Like,
you know, I was looking into everything he did on this album, and God love him, it was between him and Tony Visconti who produced it. He would have worked with David Bowie mainly, but he produced like Gentle Giant and the Strawbs and everything.
That's right, yeah.
Him and Gary had to like hold everything down in the studio, like make sure everyone was working. Phil wasn't very dependable at the time. He was on a lot of drugs, like, you know, which is what led to his downfall a few years later.
Smoking one or two Jamaican Woodbine, so to speak.
Yeah. But no, fair play to Gary now for coming in on this album and just giving it socks, like.
He gave it, and he's great on that track as well, though, isn't
he? Yeah, every track. We're going to talk
every track on that, yeah.
But yeah, S&M. Now, I absolutely love this, and I love that this is a recurring theme in the album as well. Toxic relationships and kind of abusiveness within power imbalance in a relationship kind of thing.
Yeah,
And,
very like kind of narcissistic maybe in many respects.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you can hear
absolutely.
that in the lyrics.
Yeah, yeah. And I was thinking, like, fair play to him for incorporating so many themes into this one little album. Like,
Oh yeah, they had great lyrics. A lot of people see a lot of people I always find with music, especially that kind of music, kind of rock, they don't listen to the lyrics.
no, yeah, I've always been someone that like hyper fixates on lyrics because
Lyrics, because
it
if
just
they're telling a
helps
story,
you, doesn't
yeah,
it? It really
yeah,
does.
and this is telling a story.
Yeah,
Like it's stories, in a lot of these tracks.
yeah, yeah. I think they were great at that, and I love the way they had Jim Fitzpatrick working with them to visualize things. And like for anyone that doesn't know, they actually got their name Thin Lizzy from a comic strip out of the Beano called Thin Lizzy, a little robot girl. So they were kind of into that sort of thing a
Mm,
lot, telling a story, and the lyrics would help you then visualize the story. And
yeah,
yeah, Phil, he was a great writer.
he
Fantastic.
was a great writer, absolutely brilliant,
Yeah.
brilliant vocalist though as well, wasn't he?
Oh Jesus. Now, next track is Waiting for an Alibi.
Yeah,
Jesus.
I
What
bought
a
the single. I
banger.
just came out on as a single. I remember buying the single for this,
Yeah,
and blew me away. Like when I heard the single, because
yeah,
you must remember, I would have bought this album when it came out
yeah,
in 1979, and it blew us away.
yeah.
Like I'm not sure. I think they were they after doing Parisian Walkways before this on Gary Moore's album.
I think so,
I think they
yeah.
were 78. I think,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And that was all over the place over here and the UK.
yeah,
And to have him more on this with Lynott, because they were great friends,
yeah,
great pals, really good pals. And I love Waiting for an Alibi because that to me that ties in many respects with the second track, The Toughest Street in Town. Because you listen to the lyrics, Toughest Street in Town, they had to look after themselves. They might have got into trouble. And
mhm.
they're waiting for an alibi now.
Yeah, it's like the
I wa-
next step, like,
yeah,
yeah,
the
yeah,
next step, I wasn't in that street. I was down on the other street.
yeah, yeah. Ah, brilliant. I never thought of it that way. That's
Yeah,
brilliant.
that's the way I always thought about that. I could be totally wrong, Tara. Be
No,
totally wrong.
it's all down to interpretation. Um, yeah, I remember the first time I heard this song, I was only a little child, and even then I was just blown away. I thought this was really strange. Like that bass
Mm,
line at the start is odd, very odd. I
it
actually made
is.
it my ringtone on me little Nokia.
Oh, the old Nokias. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, fantastic song, and it was odd to come over to this side of the world and see that loads of people here know that tune and love it.
Oh, they do. Yeah, because it was
Yeah,
a big
yeah, they're big into Thin Lizzy over here,
in
big time.
Canada. In Canada, they are. Yeah, because
Yeah,
your man, to be on Pete Pardo. What's his name?
Martin Popoff.
He's a huge fan of them.
He is, yeah, yeah. He's
He is.
done some great writing about them.
Brilliant. Sure, he has fantastic books and like he's a brilliant writer.
Yeah,
And he's a contrarian, as they say, because he does come out with the odds. You listen to him and you say that's different. You know what I mean? But he does give his reasons why. You get me? And that's what I like.
yeah, yeah.
There's no
Exactly.
point
Yeah.
no
No,
point
be
in beating
honest.
around the bush about
Yeah,
something. There's no point.
absolutely, yeah. Yeah, he's fantastic. But yeah, it's great to see all the love for them over here, because we're very proud people, the Irish.
We are.
And
And we,
and just
we haven't that many big bands really.
yeah, exactly. To see that kind of appreciation. Now look, I'm not gonna talk about you two. I
No, no,
don't
we won't
I
go
don't
there.
talk about you two.
No.
And of course they're big everywhere, like, but just to see a band like Thin Lizzy being appreciated so much is
Yeah,
just
proper rock band. You
yeah,
get me? Proper
exactly. Yeah.
real rock band.
Real rock band.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So next up is Sarah, a fabulous song about Phil's daughter.
That's right, yeah. And I bought this single. This was a single. I bought the single as well.
Yeah.
And I like this track. I know it's a bit poppy, but has a lovely tune. You can hear Gary Moore's little tune. you can hear Gary Moore's style on this track, can't you?
You can. Him and Huey Lewis from Huey Lewis and the News playing the
Yes,
harmonica on it. Of
that's
all
right.
people.
Imagine
Which I
that.
thought was class. But yeah, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous song. I like it when an album is broken up a little bit with a bit of a ballad in the middle of it.
Yeah, a lot of bands do that,
Yeah.
except for AC/DC, they don't do that at all.
Yeah. It's high voltage the whole way through with
Oh, the
AC.
whole way through.
Like,
Every album sounds the same. Anyway, we won't go there either.
But yeah, no, fabulous song. Wrote it about his daughter when she was just born. I heard this when I was very young as well, and I just thought it was gorgeous.
It's a gorgeous track.
I've since had beef with a girl named Sarah, so I don't really like it as much anymore.
Okay.
I know it's lovely, very nice, and it's gas. When I showed it to Cody, I showed Cody this album when I moved over here, and he loves it now. And when
Did
he
you not hear it before? No,
he'd heard Waiting for an Alibi.
but he never actually heard the album.
Never heard the album the whole way through. All they'd really know here commonly is Jailbreak.
Yeah, I think this is much better than Jailbreak.
Yeah, to be honest, I prefer this one big time.
Oh, big time. No,
Yeah.
I do.
But yeah, when I played it from the first time, he pronounces my name as Tara. So he was singing along with Sarah, but saying Tara instead.
Very good.
But yeah, so that's our nice little ballad in the middle of the album, and then we go on to Got to Give It Up.
Yeah, this track, I think this track, I'm not sure if you read the lyrics on this. I think he's singing about himself, isn't he?
He is, yeah, because he was going very hard on the drugs at the time.
He's got to give it up.
Yeah.
But any drug addict or I smoke cigarettes, I know I'd like to give up stuff. Oh yeah, you've got to give it up. You got to give it up. A lot of times you don't.
Yeah.
And unfortunately he didn't.
No.
He didn't.
No. And he was well aware of the fact that his downfall was on the way. And you can tell that in the lyrics of the song, like he's kind of sending a message to his family through the lyrics. Saying he tried his best and in the end I lost my battle.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the song he made on his solo album a good few years later, not long before he died, actually. You know that song? It was a big hit, and he was on the
Old Town.
He was in Dublin, do you remember? And this boy is out of control.
This boy is cracking up.
He was speaking about himself.
Yeah. So sad. Yeah.
It was so sad. He knew
he
had a drug problem.
Yeah.
And that's why I love that track.
Yeah.
But the riff on it is absolutely fantastic, isn't it?
Oh my god, it's class. It's one of my favorite tunes off the album. Like I adore the title track. That's my all-time favorite. But Got to Give It Up then.
Yeah. As the young people, I often hear my daughter, whose same name as yourself, Tara, saying as she hears a song, it's a banger of a song.
Yeah, that's what I say, a banger of a tune.
Banger. I said to her one day, I was playing something in the car. You must remember she's listened to all my music in the car since she was she knows all Frank Zappa. Yeah, but she said one day that's a banger of a song. I said, no, that's a great song, I said. I thought she meant it was terrible, you get me?
Yeah. Brilliant.
What would I know?
Oh my god, all right. So Got to Give It Up then goes on to Get Out of Here, which is going to bring back up the themes of toxic relationship.
Yes, again.
Yeah. So he's saying I have to get out of this. Have to get out of this relationship. Can't do it anymore. And again, like what an album he did writing about himself. You know, he was struggling big time.
Oh, he was struggling. Yeah, he was struggling.
Yeah. And the lyrics in that one, Got to Get Out of Here, are very like, Jesus.
I think he was a brilliant lyricist. Very underrated, I think.
Big time, yeah, absolutely.
You know, and I think a lot of the fans didn't listen to the lyrics, but I love lyrics anyway. So
yeah,
you know, I do like lyrics that go with good music.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And it's a huge talent to be able to do that, like, you know. And
that's a great. I like that song a lot.
Yeah, it's very inspiring because it's kind of about like asserting yourself and
It
putting your foot
is,
down,
yeah,
like,
it
you
is.
know?
But he was, of course, I think he was lost in a haze at that time as well, though, wasn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
He
Yeah.
was. Like
But
this
it's
album, like
fabulous.
I think so. Like going through this album, so all these tracks. I was playing it. I played it yesterday actually, and I was what an amazing album, and it still resonates,
It does. Yeah, it's one of those albums that stood the test of time.
and it
And
doesn't sound dated, so it doesn't.
not one bit. And you know,
A lo-
having Gary and Scott on the guitars and it gives it such a unique sound.
yeah, compared to the previous guitarist Robson,
Yeah,
like it's a different. Now, he was a brilliant guitarist. He was Scottish, wasn't he?
yeah,
And it's a different, but more such a player. Like you know what I mean? He's up
yeah,
there. Like I always find with Gary Moore, he's up there with me with the likes of Blackmore, Gallagher, and all them. He's up there. He's in that Jimmy Payne. He's in that room with all them.
yeah, yeah.
He's that good.
He is, yeah. And you know, it's gas. I was only speaking to his son recently, Jack.
Mm.
He put up a thing on Facebook saying he's bringing out new music himself and he was looking for radio DJs to give him a message. So I said, "Oh, I'm a DJ on Prog Radio. Like, can I help you?"
Mm.
And I just, it was great to be able to say, "By the way, your dad is a legend."
Oh yes,
It
legend.
was just, yeah.
Absolute legend, Tara.
And
Yes.
I was reading today about that new Rory Gallagher statue they've unveiled in Belfast. And like,
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
there's already a statue of Rory in Ballyshannon. Like,
Yeah.
geez, they'd want to do one of Gary.
They absolutely
And
should.
yeah, he is such a legend. Like,
And he's from Northern Ireland originally, isn't he?
yeah, he is. Yeah, yeah, I'd love to see that happening.
Well, it will happen eventually.
I hope so. Okay, so next is With Love, another one about like heartbreak.
Yeah, he's kind of you can see where he's going with on this. There's a lot in there, aren't there?
Yeah,
You have Get Me Out, and it goes With Love, and he actually sing. I find with this track he sings it from the heart.
yeah, yeah, me too.
You can hear it in the voice.
Mm,
Like some singers, when they sing lyrics, even if they've written them themselves, they don't sing it from, what they wrote the track. Or
yeah,
then you get other singers who sing and the lyrics weren't written by them.
yeah,
And I find it very hard sometimes if they didn't write the lyrics, it's going to be hard to actually convey what the person who wrote it,
yeah.
to give it that
Yeah, yeah, to give that that emotion behind it,
emotion to it. And that's why I
your
think
own
that's
experience. Like you can hear the pain.
in that track. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Oh, that's a superb track.
yeah, yeah, absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and another one that just will continue to resonate with people.
It will, even today in 2025, right? All the lyrics in this resonate with people.
Yeah,
What
yeah,
we've mentioned so far.
yeah, and I mean, like that really shows when someone has the chops, like when
Yeah.
they can create something timeless like this.
Yeah, and he has created with those lyrics. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, legend.
Fantastic. Oh, legend.
All right, Pat, it's time to talk about the masterpiece, the title track, Roisin Dubh, a rock legend.
The progressive rock track.
Oh my god. Every time I hear this, the goosebumps are something.
Yeah, it's the creme de la creme on the album, really,
It
isn't it?
is. Yeah, it's
Like the icing on a cake.
yeah, yeah.
When you hear
Cherry
it.
on top, like just perfect.
And I always call it, because we're Irish, I always call it Roisin Dubh.
Me too.
I don't call it Black Rose.
Yeah.
I don't.
Roisin Dubh sounds better anyway.
It does better.
The Irish always sounds better. The
Yeah.
Doors, Nadurasi.
Yeah, and Roisin is rose and Dove is black, and that's correct,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
We do the Irish, it's the other way around.
yeah.
And the guitar solo, the twin guitar solo, down little down, and it can have an Irish little thing to it as well. And that's prog, and you hear
Idol solo, as I call it.
yeah, and Brian Downey, what a brilliant drummer though.
Oh my god, yeah, the speed.
One of the most underrated drummers ever in rock music.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
As good as any of them. As
He
good
is, yeah.
as any of them.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
you can hear him speed of the drums on it, like he's flying on it.
Oh, he just, oh my God, to be able to keep up with that speed.
And he can.
What a man, like, honest to God.
The lyrics on it about the legends of long ago and
Like,
Cullen and
about
it
Cú
resonates.
Chulainn, yeah.
When you're Irish, that track resonates.
Big time. And I'm going to pull out the lyrics now and read some of them, because I know a lot of people watching this channel are not from Ireland. And it's just, I'm going to just read some of the stuff that he quotes in it relating to Irish mythology and stuff. So, Playboys of the Western World, that is actually kind of in reference to Vagabonds of the Western World, one of their albums. Yeah. And it's at the end, of course, I get real excited when he starts singing about Tipperary.
Obviously, you would have been from Tipperary, yeah.
It's a long, long road from Tipperary, as everyone says. But yeah, it's Van is the man. What did you think that was in reference to?
Van Morrison.
Me too. You know, I've always had people say it's hardly in relation to Van Morrison. Of course it is.
It is.
And he brings out his Irish accent in this as well. Asher Sean, I was born and reared there.
Yeah.
The mountains of Mourne come down to the sea. Like, you know, it's just, my heart is flying here talking about this.
Oh, it's absolutely.
Brilliant piece of music, and I get real, like, emotional. It's just fabulous. But yeah, he's talking about James Joyce, William Butler Yeats, Oscar Wilde, all the Irish poets and writers.
Yeah.
It's
as
just,
we said earlier on, Cú Chulainn and
yeah.
You
and
know,
they bring in the traditional music sound, the Irish trad music sound into it, and you can even hear someone going, "Yay!" like you would at a trad session.
You would at a trad, and people seem to forget about Irish traditional music. It's thousands of years old.
Yeah.
It goes back so far.
Yeah.
That Irish is one of the oldest on the planet, actually. Irish traditional music goes back to the old Celtic.
Yeah.
You know,
way back, like back to
way
the
back
and everything.
And even now, I'm not a big fan of, say, diddly diddly, as I call it, right?
Yeah.
I'm not. But the thing is, you go to a trad session and you have a few pints of Guinness in you. You're up. You could be up on the table in 10 minutes.
Yeah. We've all been there. Though. Yeah.
You could, because whatever the music does to us Irish, it's probably going back in our DNA.
Yeah.
It gets us going. But I do like Irish. I love Davy Spillane.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And Moving Hearts. You heard of Moving Hearts, haven't you?
Yeah.
Well, they have an album called The Storm, right? When Christy Moore left. It's an instrumental album, and it's Irish traditional prog. I'm telling you now.
Oh my God.
Check out that album, The Storm by Moving Hearts.
I will do.
It's honestly, it's unbelievable.
Wow, okay.
The musicianship on it. I saw Davy Spillane here in Waterford a few times, and he's unbelievable on them uilleann pipes.
Yeah.
The musicians he had with him, the guitarist, the drummer, they're just fantastic musicians.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of course, I love the Horselips. They're my favorite Irish band, actually.
Oh, yeah. Do you know what? I was going to say we should do a video together on the Tone.
The Tone, yeah, have it there on LP. I did one there on my channel on the Book of Invasion.
I saw it was fantastic.
Yeah, but it didn't get many views because nobody know who they didn't know. And that's a Celtic symphony.
It is.
And it's prog rock.
It is.
Celtic prog rock.
Yeah.
Because it's a concept album.
Yeah. I know, but it was a concept album about Irish mythology and stuff, and people are just like, well, what's that? But I think it's you know, when people give it a chance, they're blown away by it every time, especially when they get like the vinyl and they can kind of follow along the story and you know, interact with it, like, which is what the lads wanted.
Exactly. And it's like this Roisin Dubh track. It's just, I think that's their best track of all.
I'll be honest, I agree with you 100%. I think it's one of the best.
And as we said, I think not only is this my favorite album, but this is the best album. And you know when people say, "Oh, this is my favorite album," right? Say, and then this is their best.
Yeah.
Well, if it's your favorite album, it should be the best
Yeah, exactly.
because it's your favorite.
Yeah, I know. People
It's
try
like
and
saying,
measure like the musicianship and everything differently to what they prefer.
hmm.
I don't know. I think it's just to kind of, keep up appearances and not annoy anyone.
Yeah, well, that's sometimes it's like saying food. My favorite food is potatoes, but I prefer pasta. No, it
Yeah.
isn't. You're contradicting yourself. That's
We're
the way
going
I look
off
at it.
now, Pat. We're going off.
I know I'm going off because we're Irish and we always go off.
I know. This is what happens when we meet up and talk. But anyway, so that was our little discussion on the amazing Roisin Dubh by Thin Lizzy. Let us know what you think, and I hope some people who haven't heard the album see this and go and check it out, because
Oh, please.
listening to this for the first time is like one of the best experiences ever.
Oh, go and check this album out. And actually, and if you haven't heard of Tin Lizzy, of course, or you only know, like, say, what's that? Don't Believe a Word, or
Like Boys Are Back in Town and stuff.
say you only know that, like, they have some brilliant albums.
They do, yeah.
Brilliant albums. But I think this is their best. Actually, I think another brilliant album by them, which is very underrated by a lot of. I think Renegade is absolutely superb.
It is, yeah. Absolutely fantastic album.
Chinatown was after this, and then you had Renegade, and then they went metal, didn't they?
They kind of, yeah.
Well, their last album, Thunder and Lightning, was metal with John Sykes on it. Like,
Yeah.
it's a good album, though. Still a good album.
I'd still consider it hard rock. Like, I wouldn't, it was kind of going down the road of metal, but it wasn't quite there.
Album,
yeah. But it's still fantastic. Everything they did was pretty much fabulous. Like,
so they need to go and check this album out first.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can either go back or go forward.
Yeah.
And then obviously check out their live album, Live and Dangerous.
Oh, a classic. A classic. All right. Well, thank you all so much for watching. Please go and subscribe to Pat over at CloseToTheEdge-Prog. His channel is fantastic and he's doing very well now, which is brilliant. Great to see. The Irish are taking over YouTube. Taking over the prog realm of YouTube.
The prog, yeah.
Yeah, Scott Lade of the Prog Corner, watch out.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, I love it. Scott is brilliant, though.
He's great man. But yeah, let us know in the comments what you think of Roisin Dubh. If you've heard it before, let us know. Let us know what it made you feel like and what it means to you. And we would be delighted to interact with you all. We're looking forward to it, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye now. Thanks very much.